the album refers a lot to the beginning, the beginning years, actually, to the youth. And there's this dedication to Joey Ramone on the Miracle of Joey Ramone. What was the impact of his music on you guys?
It was just so liberating. It was, you know, when you saw the Ramones in their blue jeans and their leather jackets as a 16-year-old, and you realized they were maybe 3 years older than you or 4 years older than you. It was like, okay, we have a voice as well. And you know, the songs were, I wouldn't say simple, but they were easy to play. And Joey had a very melodic voice, which was something that Bono identified with as a singer. It was a sense of freedom and abandon that spoke to our generation. It was definitely us.
Yeah.
And that life force, you know, the whole thing about the punk rock explosion was no one had any time in the studio. They just made their album in like 4 or 5 days. And so you were hearing a band kind of in a room together making this racket. Yeah. And it's such strength, such life force, vitality. It's just really inspiring. Yeah. So we were listening to a lot of those recordings when we were in the process of putting this album together, just to kind of bring us back to what it was like to be, you know, in Dublin in the late 70s and, you know, at some of those shows.
It sounds great. I like the distortion on the guitar is amazing. Yeah. It's like, wow, it's so raw. I like it. Then Sleep Like a Baby Tonight was, that's like, that song. I mean, I know where it is about. It's against, how do you call it, child abuse in the Catholic Church. It's a problem that we are also confronted with in Belgium, I must say. But what I found really like touching was the sound that you guys used at the very beginning of that song. Maybe I'm wrong, but I hear it as like a typical 80s sound, and I mean it directly connects, of course, with the problems that happened at that time. Yeah. That was I found that really, that's for me like, okay, that's high level if you come up with that idea to put it on that song. But then my question is, how do you see religion? Did your ideas change about belief, about religion, because of what we know now and what happened in the past? Or maybe
I don't think it changes my sense of the sort of higher power of spirituality, but you know, I don't belong to a church. I don't have affiliations to any denomination because I don't feel that there's anything there that I can really completely believe in. And it's just, you know, I guess whenever we as human beings get involved in any institution, over time, you know, it's going to end up being compromised and flawed. It's just the way the world is. So it's kind of terribly disappointing, all the revelations that have emerged. Can I say it's, you know, so surprising? I guess that's the sad thing, is it's not so surprising that that kind of thing should be going on, and that people would be trying to avoid it becoming known widely. You know, those, you know, people are flawed.
Yeah, I think it is just a reminder of how flawed people are, and you have to manage your expectations. You have to be realistic in knowing the way of the world.
Yeah, but it's disappointing as a young guy, and then by growing up, you have to you have to see that it's always like that the system is working like that. I mean, I find it disappointing.
It's shocking and horrendous and terrible. I mean, it's all of that. But it's also very good to realize that you should never put your faith and total belief in other humans.
What I would also say, though, I want to say, is that there's some amazing people working in these institutions and these churches, and that's what I would always try and find, is just the great priest, of which you know, I've met so many over the years. The great minister. It's like anything. Like you look into the medical world, you'll find the same kind of disparity. You know, nurses killing their patients. You know, there was a case there not long ago, and yet you've got the most heroic doctors out there in West Africa
working on for
Médecins Sans Frontières and all that. It's just where people really shine in those situations. So I guess you got to look, hopefully, towards the great examples rather than concentrating on the ones that obviously have let everyone down.
I have another question. When I come home from a concert, I need to listen before I go to sleep to like one certain piece. It's the first piano concerto of Johannes Brahms.
Wow.
The second part especially, and I like it because there's so much space between the notes. And my question is, do you listen to music after playing a concert? And if you do, what do you listen to?
Wow. Well, I was listening last night to the new Hosier album, which is out recently, and that was really blowing my mind. Some amazing songs. He has that song, Take Me to Church, which is, I think, a beautiful, beautiful song. Really extraordinary piece of work, the lyric writing as much as the melody and the arrangement. But yeah, we try and listen to a lot if we can, and try and stay reasonably in touch with the new things coming through. It's always a challenge, especially if you're on the road or you're making an album where you're just so busy. It's always a challenge to manage to find the time to keep up to date. But that's, you know, we like to feel, you know, we're part of the conversation that's happening within the culture and not kind of trapped in a little kind of time warp back in the whatever era that we did our best or previously best work.
Well, usually my ears are ringing.
Right, after the show.
And it takes till the next day for it to stop. But, you know, I'm a great fan at that time of night of Van Morrison. You know, they're fantastic records. So,
which one is your favorite? I've got my favorite.
Oh, I like No Method, No Guru.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the other one.
What's that? The Poetic Champion composed one?
Yes,
I
that's
like
the
that
one.
one.
Sax on that.
I have one final question, guys. Well, yeah, I'm gonna ask this question. So, I have a weekly item actually on a television show. It's called Café Corsari. It's like a late night show.
Right.
And well, next Monday the item will be, of course, about this new album and about you too. But they asked me to play one of the other songs, the With or Without You, which is a very important song for me. It saved my life a couple of times.
Right.
I have to do impression. But is it true that it almost didn't make it for the record? That it took a long time before you guys agreed on how to...
I mean, that's not an unusual situation, to be honest, with our songs. Often it comes down to a kind of all or nothing moment. It's like, is this going to be put aside, or are we going to push forward with this song? And the breakthrough for that song was discovering the arrangement idea, where Adam's bass became so important in the sound, and you know, everything else was sort of built around that. The little infant guitar and little, you know, subtle rhythms that Larry was providing. The tension that gave the song really was such an important part of how the whole thing built. And it was really, we didn't, until we had that breakthrough, we were like, we knew there was something great about the tune, but it was just never seemed to work as a piece of music. We were so confused about why it wasn't happening. And looking back now, I can just say, well, we were giving it all away in the first sort of 16 bars, whereas the eventual arrangement unfolded very slowly over the full length of the song.
I see. It's a great song.
It's also, by the way, I had the audacity on one occasion to ask Van Morrison, of all our songs, which one would he wish he'd written, and that was the one he said.
Really, yeah. It's a great song. Guys, thank you for the conversation. It was really great. I have a little present for you, as I told you. It's a little box with, well, the latest record is in there if you want. It's called One, very simple.
Wow, beautiful.
Then there is like a classical concerto that came out this year. And then there is one with my trio. So
fantastic! This is great.
I hope
Thank
you'll
you, Jeff.
enjoy it.
Beautiful. And CDs, there's still something about the physical object that is great.
It is.
I almost, now at this point, like to go back to vinyl. I've almost gone...
I have my first vinyl of that record.
That one.
I had to ask Universal like 10 times to make a vinyl, and finally they did it. I sold more vinyls yesterday on my release concert than CDs.
Wow.
I think it's a new
Something's
thing.
happening out there. People are really digging the vinyl again.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay, thank
Real
you.
pleasure.
Thank you very much. And I wish you all the success with the new album.
Thank you
guys.
so much.